So these guys argued, and I just took the time to just focus and kill as many human beings as I could. They'd fucking shoot at us, we'd fucking level it, move up. They'd shoot at us, we'd level it, we'd move up.
What was the mission briefing for Tora Bora? What were you guys doing? What was the
Bin Laden's there, go get him and kill him. End of discussion. Wanted dead or alive. That's it.
How'd you insert?
Fucking Toyota trucks, man. We drove up, drop a daisy cutter. Man, I had old fucking trusty Rusty. I had the red fucking Toyota truck. Like, I would attract mortar fire like you read about, man. It's fucking awesome. And we just drive up in that bitch, right into the fucking middle. We get out of the truck on my day. I'm with this other guy. He was like a Panama guy. He was the guy in Panama. He shot the machine gun in the barracks and killed all the guys before they got out of bed. So like he had been to combat before. I drive my truck to the top of the mountain, past the tanks. There's fucking savages, the tanks shooting, like total fucking chaos, right? There's press. We had to fight our way through the press. We had a guy almost shoot the press. It was great. Like, this is the best ever, right? I'm thinking. So we get to the top of the mountain and like, we're just getting mortared like you fucking read about. And I asked that guy, I was like, is this incoming or outgoing? Like, what's going here, right? Like why? I'm like, this is fucking great. Like, and I just standing there, right? So he kind of like walked by the truck and just left me there, right? And then like, I don't know, 10 years later, he was like, hey, remember that day on the top of the mountain? I was like, yeah. He was, yo, those were incoming, but you had such a fucking smile on your face. I want to ruin it for you. I was like, I asked you incoming or out. If you said they were, I thought it was like the tank fire and kicking up. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So like, and at the same time, like in the book Kill Bin Laden, like the fucking savage commander guy, I don't remember his fucking name, but he's just like, yes, those are your men. And, you know, Dalton Fury's like, yes, are my men, you know what I mean? And he's thinking, what the fuck are they doing? You know what I mean? And I'm just over there like, this is fucking great. Like the savage commander, like, your men are very brave. Like, your men are brave. Like, they fucking love me, you know what I mean? But it's kind of what it was like. Total chaos. No idea what was going on all the time. Let's just make the best thing happen right now.
So was that your first kinetic deployment?
Yeah.
As an operator?
Yeah.
Through Ranger, through SF?
Yeah.
In, sounds like several years over a Delta as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how did that feel?
Fucking amazing, man. Amazing. And then like typical team shit. I got two guys arguing who's going to be in fucking charge. One's senior by time. One's actually in charge, but he's junior by time to the senior guy. So these guys are arguing. And I just leave them argue. It'd be like, yo, you know, call for air mission, linear sheath, fan them out. You know what I mean? Fair, half ground. I'm just fucking working it. And then it'd be like, be like, hey, see if we're danger close. Say, hey, stop arguing for a minute. Hey, how far are we from the bad guys? 400 yards. They said 600. Yeah, send it. Get behind a rock. You know what I mean? And like, I fucking drop it. You know what I mean? And then, so these guys argued, and I just took the time to just focus and kill as many human beings as I could. They'd shoot at us, we'd fucking level it, move up. They'd shoot at us, we'd level it, we'd move up. Like, pretty simple.
Was that affecting you at all that I mean, that's your first, let's talk about your first kill. You said you were on the 50. Do you remember it?
Yeah. Fucking McMillan 50, we shot dudes like, I don't know, 2,500 meters. The problem is like, look, this is why I'm not fucking claiming 1 million of these fucking kills, because you can't get there from here. But I'll tell you this, the motherfuckers never shot again. How do you know? Mm-hmm. So is this confirmed kills? So like, yeah, we shot people, man, with that 50. Fucking great. Because
2,500, that's your first?
Yeah.
Shit.
First 10 days of the war.
That's your first engagement with
yeah. Later, I'd have to go to Special Forces sniper school because I thought I was going to be a sniper leader in the unit because I'd been a sniper for so long in the unit. And like I'd already had kills, had a big beard. They hated me over there. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's not right. Yeah, first 10 days of the war. And then we just killed and captured so many people. Like, I don't think guys really understand, like, you know, the lone survivor story, right? The Taliban, you know, on the Navy SEAL team. You know what I'm saying? And then it didn't go well for the SEALs. Okay. Yo, bring 400 of your friend. Tell them to bring their fucking trucks. Tell them to bring their machine guns. And like, we would just kill all comers. All comers. You know what I mean? And you'll hear other guys. There's other times we did even more of this in Iraq. We just kill everyone that shows up. So it's like the lone survivor, like, I don't even understand it, because we would kill hundreds of people in a fucking day. Like, yeah, show up. We'll kill you too. We don't even care. Like, I didn't understand how those things really happened. You know what I mean? Compared to my experience and what I saw. You know what I mean? And then so, literally, man, I can't tell you how many days I got where we just killed some people you can't even count.
So, I mean, no, basically zero rules of engagement. Just kill it and shows up.
I used to call it State Department by Shrek. I'm the fucking State Department here. I make the decisions. Kill everybody. Let's go. Yeah, I love chaos. It's my jam. I gave you chaos as my jam stick.
Yep. What? Let's talk about some of your singleton missions.
So, the first one, I had to go back into Tora Bora. Because in there, the premise of going back into Tora Bora is there was a guy who supposedly him and his sons brought bin Laden out. Right? They escorted him in a Pakistan. Right? And then the goal was find him. So I had to go out alone. I was out for days, taxis, trucks, hitchhiking, whatever you want to call it. I get to the area. I had a Kent cigarette bag with a fucking, a Super 8 VHS. I think it was Super 8, or maybe been 6 mil at that time, but 8 or 6 mil like cassettes in the little record. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. In a Kent cigarette bag and like a sat phone. And I just fucking took a cab out of Jalad towards Tora Bora Mountains and hitchhiked all the way till I got there.
All by yourself?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, how the fuck do you blend in?
You wear Savage stuff? Yeah.
No terp? No nothing?
Just shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? You just shut the fuck up. Yeah, and then like I had to act retarded at a couple of the checkpoints. You know what I mean? Like got the A to the chest. And it's like, if I open my mouth, I'm dead. So that's not an option. You know what I mean? And then I just figured I'd mongoloid voice at volume. And so the guy's like, la, 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 la. I'm like, rah, 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 rah. And the guy's like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I got through the checkpoints. And that's how I got the assault force through all those checkpoints as well.
The body mutilations, the beheadings, the dismemberment.
The human shields, it was crazy. And I remember one day, we stopped getting stuff delivered to our fires. It wasn't a fire base, it was a base, camp. And all the workers we had coming to help us, local nationals, their heads arrived in a bag outside of our gate. And so getting people to come help the Americans was extremely difficult.
They sent all the head local workers to your front gate? Holy shit. How many heads? Did you know these guys?
I'm just a dude. I'm still like living in La La Land because we're waiting for the mission. I'm wondering why we're not getting a water supply. I'm wondering why, this thing hasn't been delivered. I'm just, dude. I'm waiting with my scratch-off phone card, waiting in line for an hour and a half to use the fucking morale phone, because I'm still living in a reality that I don't even know where I'm in and where I'm at. Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting for tasking. But all these big things are happening, and I was a low-level guy. I wasn't really involved. You just hear the stories. Then you start.
What the fuck does that brief look like? You guys are wondering where our local workers are. Their heads have all been chopped off, and they're in packages at the front door.
Well, back then, dissemination of information wasn't really a thing. And that's my perspective. That's my view on things. And I say that because when we finally got the green light to go in, it was March 26, 2004. And we are tasked with, we are pushing through the city of Fallujah. and we're clearing it.
With how many people?
Our entire battalion. So 4 companies. My Marine math is not that great when it comes to the breakdown of all those outfits.
100?
Hundreds.
200?
Multiple pins. So there's other units. Because I believe Fallujah was a 4x4 grid square. 2x2, something of that. And my battalion was the main effort. So other adjacent battalions were doing other combat missions to support our push through the city. So they were more on the outskirts, kind of like funneling people towards us. So the plan was. And so we stage at like 02, 03 in the morning on our camp. But the night prior, my platoon comes in and he's like, everyone's going to write their death letter.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I got goosebumps even thinking about that. Because at the time, no. I saw some guys get shrapnel wounds. I heard the stories of the heads. And hear the explosions. I'm told to write my own death letter. And I'm like, what say? What do I do? And my girlfriend at the time, so I wrote a letter to her. My parents were in my life. I wrote a letter to my parents. And we all turned our letters over to our platoon commander. And that's when I knew shit was fucking real.
Do you still have those letters?
I don't.
What'd you write?
I really don't remember. I wrote what an 18-year-old kid probably would. I was motivated, so I probably wrote some shit like, I'm dying for, I fought for my country, for my team. I love you guys, I miss you.
Do you think your parents still have that letter?
No, my parents got more than a letter.
Okay. Well, we'll for that.
Yeah, it's coming up.
It's fucking demoralizing.
It's pretty demoralizing, but at the same time, I didn't know any different. None of us knew. No one knew. And I get it. Some people might be thinking, "Oh, dude, it's war. What did you expect?" But no, I've been to war. This was hell. This was something that shaped my life for the rest of my life. As long as I live, I will never forget that. I won't remember all the details. I still don't remember all the details. I don't remember all the lines. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I remember the feeling. And I have never been able to shake it ever since. So we load up in these trucks. I'm in a 7-ton, those big, very clunky, Night diesel, 18th military tactical vehicles. And we're all smoking cigarettes, light discipline. We're still on base. Because the drive is only like 10 minutes. The drive from your DVD player, your shitty fucking food, and the thing you call a bed, 10 minutes away from hell. And it's just outside your gate. And the drive was that 10 minutes. 10 minutes of fucking silence and pure fucking darkness. And I just remember feeling like the rumbles of the truck. I smell the JP8, the fuel. And you can feel that energy for all those fucking souls that are there. These fucking dudes, you can feel it. The silence, that ending that speaks no words. That mindset that has no category. It just is what it is. And only situations can bring that about. And we stopped right outside the city. It's the Cloverleaf. It was like this highway. There was a highway right outside of it. And there was this Cloverleaf of a highway, like entrance points, on-ramps, off-ramps. And we park outside of that and we unload. It's just dead quiet. It's pitch black. But there's these street lights. And we're all like, what's going on? What are we doing here? Like, what's the next phase? What's the next step? And you hear gunshots. And a few of us, to include myself, we like, well, it's our guys shooting out streetlights, which it's not as easy as movies make, especially with 5.56. And it took a couple shots to make these things happen. And then it got super quiet. And then my team leader comes up and he's like, hey, we're tasked to do Overwatch and push forward. I'm like, okay, I was a point man. That was my fucking job. I was good at it. So not only navigating to a destination, which we didn't have one, my head's on a swivel. I have to see everything and relay that back, because it's our mission to provide information to our battalion, to our commanders, so they can create and determine what's intelligence and what action and what needs to happen. And right on the outskirts of the city was this unconstructed building, and I remember making my way up there, and it's beautiful. The sun's peaking. There's smell of unknown, a new country, and it was so peaceful and quiet. It was insane. Saw nobody. We slowly start to push up. We're still remaining in a watch position, and the IFABs come up. These Mercedes Jeeps, and our weapons guys, our weapons company guys, the guys with the Mark 19s, the 50 cal, the 240s were mounting on these little things. And I remember they pushed up in an L shape to provide support so the infantrymen can continue to push up and bound as they were trained to do. Bound from one place to the next place, and we're gonna clear this village, this city. And then, like that, an IFAB just disappears. And it blew up, like literally like one of us. And I was like, holy fuck, this is real. Like, I knew it was real. I heard the stories. I saw the explosion. I fucking saw the holes in the bodies. But now they're in the thick of it. There's no chow time. There's no break. There's no pee break. This is it. And it's like maybe 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning. The day has just begun. And that doesn't stop anybody. We push the fight. We continue to push. Now sporadic gunshots start happening. Now we have ground elements that are maneuvering. You know, now we're in hustle and bustle. There was no martial law. There was no city operations. This is a fight now. And still not to the full capacity of what was awaiting us in Fallujah. And to me, as a point man on a sniper team, I didn't think there was a lot of planning. I'm not saying I was a master planner back in the day. I learned about phase lines later in life, and there was no phase lines during this. There was no limits of advance. There was no real plan. It was, hey, go here, move forward. It was kind of like throwing spaghetti at the wall, see what stuck. And so we get tasked again. We're like, hey, you guys push forward, establish overwatch. You guys push relay back to us, and the grunts will push forward also. We're like, okay. That's what we did. And now we're getting targeted. I find myself on another rooftop, and as a point man, I'm holding rear security, baby. I'm watching that door leading up to the stairwell. Not a fun job. My friends are shooting. They're engaging. They're seeing people with guns. You know, they're doing their job. And I'm like, watching this door. And then I realized watching this door became very interesting because I started to get shots all around my head. You know, pew, 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 hitting the wall. So I'm like ducking. I'm like, shit. So now I put that in perspective, like, yo, bro, you might be holding security in the rear, dude, but like, you can't just hold security in the rear. You got to hold security all over. So you have to be observant. Is your head past that ledge? What is your guys doing? Have you looked back to see what they're doing? And like, I'm learning all these things I've never learned in training.
Damn.
And not like I was not trained properly, but there's only one way to learn certain things. You have to collectively put it together. That's why it's extremely important. Well, back in the day, we trained the best we could with the funds we had and the knowledge experience that we had. Well, I can't tell you how many TTP, techniques and procedures, came out of, and SOP, standard operating procedures, came out of Fallujah alone.
Yeah.
Because what you thought you were going to do, we were still doing this Cold War era tactics. It does not work in an urban environment like that, where that has been waiting to dominate your soul. Literally waiting to kill you. There was kill houses set up all over the place. There was rat lines, there were lulls, there were channel walls knocked down to basically shoot in one house, and they could run through all these other walls, so no overhead aerial platform was going to see them. You weren't going to see these guys. You were going to hear shots, and they were going to disperse, because you're fighting a guerrilla warfare. You're fighting a true adversary.
Sometimes people will ask me, like, were you ever scared? And the answer is yeah, I was. And one of the times it was the scariest for me was actually on a sniper overwatch on my first deployment, where I started getting mortared. And so to like kind of unpack that, typically we would, we'd go in at night and we would take a house that we thought would give us good sight lines for whatever we wanted to watch. And one day we were watching, I think we were watching MSR Michigan for people planning VBIDs, or not VBIDs, I'm sorry, IEDs. And we also knew that some partner forces were going to be patrolling through that area. So we wanted to make sure that if they came under contact that we could support them. And so I remember we came in, in the middle of the night, there was a family in the house. And when there is, and there often was, you can do a couple things. You can either make them stay in the house, or you can let them go. And either way, especially at that point in the war, that was in 2006, locals kind of knew what was going on, whether you let them out or kept them, because they would kind of check in on people, because they knew that stuff happened. Like if the Ryan family didn't come out, send their kids to school by 0800, they knew there was a good chance the Americans were in their house, right? Or if you let them go, they're probably going to tell people, hey, there's Americans in our house. And so I remember in there, and then taking this house out, had good sight lines, and then getting all set up and ready to go for the next day. And as a new guy, my job wasn't to be on a sniper rifle. My job was to hold security. And so I remember my job was to watch the west side of the house. And so I found a good spot by a window a little bit back into the room where I could watch, pretty much everything that was going down on the left side of the house. I took off a lot of my gear, but just had like my frags laid out by the window. And I had a Mark 48 machine gun. And, as the sun came up, and most of our snipers, we probably had 4 or 5 snipers on the op. Most of them were north watching this MSR Michigan, road that was out in front of the house. And I remember, I don't know, maybe an hour or so after daylight, one of the snipers took a shot, killed a bad guy. And then probably 3 or 4 more times our snipers started engaging people. And I remember one of them shot this guy in this car on my side of the house where I could see it. Like it was shot him through a car windshield, like the front windshield. I remember looking out the side of my window, and sure enough, right in the driver's side, front of this windshield had a big old spider vein bullet hole in it. And this guy was dead. One of our snipers shot him through the head. And it got pretty eerie really quick, because the sniper shot him right in front of a school.
Oh.
And so I was watching this, everybody's amped up, shots are being fired, starting to kill bad guys. And I remember probably 10 minutes later, a bunch of women and children. First, a couple women or a couple kids, I think, came out, saw it. And then the screaming started, right? These women and children are just screaming and crying. And then I remember them pulling his dead body out of the car and pulling him into the school. And my spidey senses were started going through the roof. It just made my spidey senses knew there's no better way to start a fight than to rile up women and children, because as they get riled up, emotions start getting riled up, and then want revenge. And I just knew it. I knew we were going to get hit. And so sure enough, like 45 minutes later, the small arms start. First it's indirect. You can just hear it cracking over the heads. And then it starts getting more direct, and you can start to hear it, hitting the building a little bit. And, everybody's on full alert, just ready to rock and roll. And I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes later, the first mortar, hear it pop up in the air. And there's a guy named Mike, one of our snipers, who was on the same level as me. We weren't on the roof. We were on the level below the roof. And he had propped his Mark 11 up on a desk, and that's what he was using as his platform. And
Mark 11's a sniper rifle for those that
Mark
don't
11
know.
is like a sniperized AR-10 or a 7.62 magazine fed sniper rifle with a suppressor on it. And I remember Mike. Mike was a badass. Like, Mike was, tough as nails. Definitely the type of guy you don't want to mess with. And I remember as soon as that first, mortar round popped up in the air, I heard Mike's voice change. And he yells at me. He's like, "Take cover." And I was like, if Mike's telling me that, and I get in his voice, this is serious. And so first mortar round comes up, hear it explode, not a direct hit. And then they just start popping these mortar rounds up in the air. And I'll tell you, Shawn, I don't think I've ever been scared in my life, because it is like the movies, man. You can hear those things whistling through the air. And the difference, like when you get shot at, it happens so fast, you don't really have time to be scared, right? But when mortar rounds incoming, and you can hear those things whistling for 5-6 seconds in the air, time you're thinking, is this it? I wonder if this, if this is a direct hit, if this hits this house, we're done. And thankfully, these guys really didn't want it. I could tell they didn't want an extended fight. They kind of wanted to just see if they could hit us with the mortar rounds and then get the hell out of here, so we didn't pinpoint their location and kill them. But I think they only launched like 4 or 5 mortar rounds. One of them, I do remember one of them though, hit on the west side of the house, probably like 60 from my window, and frag, flew up and through the window. And that, that was, pretty close. But I'm just glad that, they were off on their shots. But then our AOIC at the time called in Artie, and from I think from Habanilla, and that was pretty cool to hear the big guns start going off in the distance, and then the tree line that we thought we were taking the mortars from, started getting rocked, and the fight was over at that point. But always, that's a scary feeling, man. Not only hearing mortar rounds, whistle through the air and not knowing where they're going to hit, and your small arms fire. But like when you're in a sniper overwatch or a situation like that, you're usually in one of the worst neighborhoods on planet Earth, and there's like 10 to 15 of you, and you're in somebody else's city, and you're constantly thinking, how many bad guys can they muster to send at us?
Yeah.
And if when you're probably not going to get extracted till nightfall, because nobody wants to risk the vehicles in the daylight, which we didn't always own. We usually own the night. That we could be in for it, for a while.
Yeah. It's like a feeling. I've been in a couple of similar situations, and it's like the feeling of helpless. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
You can't figure out where it's coming from. If you can, like it's the tree line, you can't.
Yeah.
There's no target to shoot. You're just gonna eat it, and hope it stops soon. You know, hope you don't eat it, and hope it stops soon. And it's completely out of your control.
Yeah.
But yeah, damn. How did you guys get out of there?
Like I said, I think on that op we were going to stay for a couple days, but I think they decided to pull us. I think they pulled us that night, and as soon as it got nightfall, we went to a rally point, and our guys came in and picked us up.
Yeah. Other team guys or yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you say 10 to 50 guys, they're spread out in different OPs, right? No,
On that one, all in the same. We were all in that one. We were all in the same house. But yeah, that happens sometimes where you spread them out. But I want to say there were probably 10, 12 guys on that op, and then we had our partner force was downstairs holding security. But yeah, it was it was interesting. Definitely, and that was probably. It wasn't the closest call I've ever had, but it was the most scared I've ever been in combat, just because the anticipation factor that mortars and you just being able to hear it for 5-6 seconds before it hits somewhere and you're wondering what's going to hit. That.
Yeah. What was the closest call?
The closest call would have been on my next platoon, my third and final platoon, and we got ambushed by three guys at about 110 yards, and I was like laying in the street, nowhere to go, just watching tracer rounds just fly over us.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was pretty wild, man. I was man that night, and so I was leading us. We had like 600-yard patrol into the target house that we were going to hit, and we were going after a dude that was making V-bids and IEDs, and just a really bad dude. And unfortunately, it was the first night that we'd given our partner force the 8-digit grid coordinates of the target that we were going to hit, and sure enough, we got lit up. That's been going on in warfare for a long time, just partner forces playing both sides of the and it was kind of surreal, just because there were, I think, two guys had AKs, and then one guy had it looked like an RPK, a belt-fed heavy machine gun, and he had belted together probably two belts, probably 200 rounds of tracer, so you could just see every round over your head. And thank God they were shooting, maybe or so high, and so none of us got hit. But when I went back that night and looked at it, because we had a Predator, we had 2 Apaches, and then a C-130, and I watched the Predator feed, and we actually used some of the tools to like how far we were from them, and it was 110 yards, which is that's not far for the weapons at all. So that was definitely my closest call.
What were you doing that close?
Explosion wanted to seize this factory.
There's this factory that Murad is talking about called Conoco, which is sort of the crown jewel of all the assets. It's valued in the hundreds of millions of dollars. It was one of ISIS's most valuable assets for fuel smuggling.
You knew that U.S. Special Operations were in the factory.
And he comes in and he says, "We're gonna take this from the Americans."
His ego rose above the common sense.
Russian military had denied 3 different times it was Russians on the ground.
Any direct confrontation. World War III.
Sounds like there was about 500 soldiers on the ground. There were 40 U.S. Special Forces guys along.
Gordon decided that American
issue guys. They know anybody else what you're about to walk into.
Thing was good, and then some complications occur with my wife. Black Suburban pulls up with the sergeant major of the training, who was a team leader in Mogadishu. He's like, "Where's Spooner?" "Yeah, I'm fired." "Okay, your wife's okay, but she's in the hospital. Go take care of business, go take care of your family, keep me updated." His wife taking care of my wife. I started laughing at the dude. "Do you want, like, hey man, just throw chem lights and try to keep up?"
Especially with the guys that are putting you through. I mean, the Mogadishu guys, Tom Satterley and his boys. And we've interviewed Tom.
Yeah.
And, I mean, what was... And then knowing they know more than anybody else what you're about to walk into.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I would think that those had to be some hard men to please. And I would imagine that did it seem like they just despise you? Like there's no way that you could ever rise to their expectation to be able to work alongside with them?
Wasn't that at all?
No shit.
I mean, they were super tough at upholding the standard. So there wasn't any extra, like the standard was so hard, number one. Now the intensity level has gone up. Maybe it's always been that way. You know what I mean? I don't know. I only know my class and the classes after that I was cadre on. But it was like that level of intensity and focus on the standard of doing it right, man, was off the charts. And we had a really small group.
How many?
There was probably 10 to 12 guys in my little group, you know, so there was almost a one-to-one instructor. Like you weren't getting away with nothing. And they were not going to send a product to, like, all of those guys had already, obviously, their instructor status now. They had spent, you know, years on the teams. Like, they're not sending any shitbag back to their friends. So there's that aspect of it, too. Like, because there's a good chance that they'll be working with them. You know, because after they finish that time as being instructed, they're right back. You know, so that's what keeps it so fresh. So, yeah, it was super intense, man. And then so it was the normal pressure and then the self-imposed pressure. Because here I am now, another Super Bowl win, right? Now I'm going through the gate of this compound that I've been around for 11 years. And I'm actually going through the gate. So for a little while, the intensity and every week they made a decision where you were staying or not. I mean, that was common knowledge. They had a little meeting, and with the instructors, it was whether you were staying or not. And there were guys getting chipped off, you know what I mean? And, I mean, just because you made it through that, so if you had to make it through the last board at the end, you know what I mean? It was intense, but I loved it. You know what I mean? And again, it was during that time. So that was just amazing. Right. And so back to month 2, you know, basically of it, January timeframe. And my son was born in the middle of January. Right. So and during that time in the training course, you know, it was a lot of basic stuff that they were doing at the time because they're getting the whole group up to speed. Because, you know, they're pulling from guys with all different backgrounds, you know what I mean? So they're setting everybody up for success along the way. So there's a lot of stuff marksmanship wise that I was already good at and a lot of things. So my son was born, and awesome, you know what I mean? 2-year-old infant, you know, newborn, and wife, everything's good. Have a little bit of time to take care of that. Then family's coming in to help take care of, you know, obviously very planned for because I got to be in this, you know what I mean? So it's all good. It was good. And then some complications occur with my wife. She has very hard time with pregnancies. And so, but that was mostly during pregnancy. And this was post. So usually no problems after that. Well, I don't know that there's a problem. Range, Black Suburban pulls up, you know, with the sergeant major of the training, you know what I mean? Who was a team leader in Mogadishu, by the way. So that crew, you know what I mean? So he shows up and he's like, "Yeah, where's Spooner?" "Yeah, I'm fired." You know what I mean? Like, the sergeant major doesn't come,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, at the range and ask for only one reason, you're out of here. So I get in and he don't say shit. He's like, "Yeah, get in." And we get in, and I'm like, I'm fired, you know what I mean? He's like, hey, your wife's okay, but she's in the hospital. There's been some complications. She's stable, but, there's a lot going on. He's like, so you're going to take this Suburban, you're going to take this cell phone, because 2001 time frame, right? So we don't have iPhones and all that. You're going to take this cell phone, go take care of business, go take care of your family, keep me updated. Fuck out of here. And so I do, you know what I mean? Oh, roger that, thanks, Armin. You know what I mean? And I go. But in my mind, I'm like, what? Where am I? You know what I mean? Like, what? Who does this? Like, I mean, of course that you can't miss any time, man. I haven't even made it, you know what I mean, through the first month, and now this is going on. Whatever. So go through, and, it was life, a lot of complications. We got septic. There was, different things that had happened, and it took a few days to get stable. So, I mean, I missed a couple of days, you know what I mean? Because I got a newborn, a 2-year-old, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot going on. And so I was like, whatever, I know my priorities are straight, you know what I mean? The family is first in this scenario, you know what I mean, versus the school. And we were just taking care of it. I'm heading. So we get it all settled in again. And after a couple of days, and I go back to work, I keep Sergeant Major updated. Everything's good. Back to work. And then it was after work this time, she ended up having to go again to the hospital. You know what I mean? So it was another little stint. And so it was a lot going on, right? And so I know, I'm like, man, I'm going to get at best recycled. You know, here I am again, like my little scenario. It's not me this time, it's a family situation, but it's like same kind of scenario where, like, at best I'm going to get recycled. If not, like, hey, man, you can't handle your own family problems, you probably don't need to be in this unit. You know what I mean? Kind of deal. So anyway, I call the Sergeant Major up and say, hey, Sergeant Major, everything's settled. Like, he's like 100%. He said, don't call me until, because she didn't know she went and had to go back. He's like, okay, like, make sure it's settled before you call me back again. Like, take the time, make sure your family's good. The support is there that you need, whatever you need. Meanwhile, this dude is, number one, taking care of me by allowing me to do that stuff. And his wife is taking care of my wife. Like, we don't even know this. These people. They haven't said this, but with saying it, they didn't need to. Is like, yeah, this is how we handle here, our people. You know what I mean? It was like, it was fucking bizarro world to me. And it's like calling my wife, checking on my wife, like, who the fuck is she? Like, it almost weirded me out a little bit. Like, what the fuck's in it for them? You know what I mean? Because I'm just, but it was just like, so I call Sergeant Major up, say like, hey, yeah, it's good. I was like, we're good, we're solid. And I'm waiting for him just to tell me. He just didn't want to hurt my feelings along the way. You know, like, hey, we want to recycle you into the next class. You've missed 6 days of training now. You know, and he's like, okay, you get settled? Yeah, good. He's like, all right, go to Raleigh. There'll be because my guys, they were doing training out at Campbell with aircraft, you know, and it's like, hey, your team's already out at Campbell. There's a plane ticket waiting for you in Raleigh. Pick up a ticket, get on the plane, meet up with your team, continue with training. I started laughing at the dude. I started laughing, and he's like, what? And I was like, hey, Sergeant Major, like, do you want one of my kids? Like, what? No one does. Like, what do you mean? Like, he was supposed to tell me, like, no, I'm recycling, you know, and he's telling me to continue with the training, you know, and I was like, you want one of my kids or something? He laughs a little bit, you know, and he's like, it's just the right thing to do. I'm like, why's that? I'm like, what the fuck, man? Who is this? I haven't even made it. You know what I mean? And like, they're taking of me like I'm a unit member. You know what I mean? Like I'm.
Your mindset is, I don't deserve this treatment yet.
Exactly. And, yeah. And they're like, hey, yeah, this, as if, you know, and here's another example of like this next level of brotherhood, this next level of care for the family. You know what I mean? This like, okay, I'm in a different spot, you know, and this is and these are with these guys. You know what I mean? So it bursts that bubble or begins to burst some of the bubble that, hey, to be a badass commando, you got to drink and tear up, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, some of them do. And again, I'm not judging, But then there's also a large group that they don't.
Time doesn't slow down, and really, you shouldn't either. We all sit around and say, oh, I'll get to that later, but some things shouldn't wait, like protecting your family's financial future. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done today. Like you, all on your schedule, right from your couch. You could be covered in under 10 minutes, no health exam required. Fabric has flexible quality policies that fit you, like $1 million in a day. If you have kids, and especially if young and healthy, time to lock in low rates is now. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/srclips. That's meetfabric.com/srclips. MEET fabric.com/srclips. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
They're just total badasses anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I was meeting all these different kind of dudes and everything, you know. So my wife's better, everything's good, you know. Make it course, yeah. So
Well, what did it feel like getting through that course?
man,
With the grad, when you're done in 9/11, it just, I mean, you're the first class to graduate OTC Delta.
I hadn't thought of that till you just said it.
Post 9/11.
Yeah,
The longest war in U.S. history.
yeah, man. I was fucking pumped.
What did they say to you?
Welcome
That's
to the
it.
team. Yeah, man. Like, here's your team room. Here's your team sergeant. Here's like, hey, let's get to. In typical fashion, it's like, hey, great job.
No, hold on tight. It's going to be a wild ride.
Oh, so then whenever it comes, and now then you get with the team, right? And so that was the next kind of cup check. You know, check for me was like, you know, how good can these guys really be?
What squadron did you go to?
Yeah.
A.
So it's like, hey, how good could these guys be? You know, because I've been doing CQB, NSF for a while, been to CQB schools and stuff. It's like now OTC level. It's like, you know, and that which up the game. It's like, can they really be that much faster and that much better? Like, because I don't have a point of reference. You know what I mean? And I'm a little bit arrogant guy myself, you know, and so when you get to the team, and then my 2IC, you know, he says to me, it's like, hey, when we're going on team runs, you know, doing CQB in the buildings, he's like, hey, man, just throw chem lights and try to keep up. And I'm like, what? Like, yeah, watch, you know, me being a little bit of arrogance, like, you know how good I am, you know? It's like, and so what did I do for the next few weeks? Throw chem lights and try to keep up. You know what I mean? Because it was, these guys have been working together. Like, as you experience, you know, you get on a team, and these dudes have been doing it at this level together for this. Like, that's, I mean, there's intuitive shit they're doing. You know what I'm saying? They just see how he's leaning and he knows what he's doing already. Like, these guys know each other in the house, under nods. Like, it's incredible. So there I am again, just trying to keep up, man. I'm always going for the title, man. And it's like, but in that crew of men, in that crew of warrior like that, man, it was like, holy crap, man. Let me just be amongst them, you know, and have a decent reputation amongst them. Like, that was like the goal. I mean, some days you'd win, you know, be on top, but then you knew that they were coming. It was that healthy competitiveness, man, where it was just like, it was incredible. It just created this fighting force that was unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life. And now I was part of it, man. So I was ecstatic. And again, with my that, okay, if I'm not supposed to be here, I wouldn't have made it. So I'm supposed to be here, so be all in. Until I'm not, like, living at the moment, living in the present, living in the day, having in the plan, and like, learn your job, get to work, like, let's go. And let's go to war, man. Like, you know what I mean? I spent 11 years, you know what I mean? Like, my whole life for this moment. Like, and obviously there was some naive to that, because I mean, I experienced some of it in the Gulf War, but just a taste, you know. That's a little bit of naive of what that meant, but I kind of knew what it meant, you know. And I was, again, now I'm almost 12 years in, a lot of hard stuff. I was pretty hardened, trained, hardened mind, body, and spirit dude. You know, like I was about as prepared as you can get to go to war.
How long was it after you graduated OTC before you went out the door on your first deployment?
2 months, 2, maybe 3.